All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our first free webinar, What is Coaching?
Well, thank you, Diego. My name is Juan Manuel Sanchez, and I am the founder of Los Sueños Institute. I thought the best way for us to really talk about what is so exciting about having a coach, why do you need a coach? It would be simply by saying, what is it that really makes me feel as a coach? What is it that makes me feel fulfilled about being a coach? And that truly comes from seeing the lights go on in an individual's eye. When in their eyes you can see that they are connecting with who they really are and the genius and their true authentic potential that lies within them. And they take their first step in that direction and fulfilling that potential. With us today, we also have Diego Andreas. And Diego, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name's Diego Andreas. I'm a coach with Los Sueños Institute. I started about 18 months ago, and all I can say is when I first started, I had no idea that this is where it would bring me. I started as an intern, and after beginning to learn about the coaching process and just the impact a coach can have on someone's life, I couldn't imagine doing something more rewarding. Uh, there's nothing that's ever been so fulfilling for me, something that's lit such a fire in my belly, that's been so much fun and so exciting at the same time. It's really incredible to watch our clients break down their individual barriers and recognize their full potential. That's honestly, I couldn't think of anything more rewarding to do. And I think then moving forward, we wanted to go ahead and cover some of what EFL coaching is.
Let's start with really the role of a coach. The role of a coach is to be that individual that lights your path and helps you find your way. They're not necessarily the source of the light, but light and truth shines through them. And when I say truth, what does that mean? Well, this is an individual that's going to be honest with you. That's the truth. They're going to give you exact, straightforward feedback as they see you so that they can be a real reflection, a mirror for you of where you're at. There is also something where that they'll start for them to be that honest with you and for you to accept that is really the level of honesty and the level of trust that develops from that honesty. It really becomes a give and take relationship that you develop with that coach, and the foundation of that is the trust that you two develop with each other.
And to that point, Juan, really as a coach, all we act as is a mirror. All we do is show you yourself. You already have all of your own answers. Just sometimes the answer isn't what you want it to be.
That's right.
And that's really where the truth is. It's in that honest reflection of yourself.
And many times, you're absolutely right, Diego. Is many times those answers are hidden because of the fears that you're carrying with you. And what's interesting about those fears, they might not even be your fears. You're picking up fears that were handed to you many times with a lot of good intentions. People who didn't want to see you hurt, be it your parents, be it society, and you've carried these fears around. And while they do act as a shield to protect you, they also act as a shield to blind you from what your authentic self is and what that potential is.
And Juan, that's absolutely it. And I can say that working with my clients, it's those moments where they look at an idea, a habit that they're in that's holding them back, and recognize that it really is rooted in their own fears. Those are really where those aha breakthrough moments happen. That's where the gears start to turn and they go, oh, I can do this a little bit differently if I want to, can I?
Well, and you may say, well, Juan, that might be a that might be really an easy thing for you to say, is that it's what you're afraid of. Well, I know that it's things that I'm scared of. I'm scared of losing everything that I've worked up to. I'm scared of saying the wrong thing. I'm scared of going into, if I follow my passion, I may not be able to support my family, support myself. So it's easy for you to say, yeah, it's fears. I know it's those fears. But what do I do from that? And that is the other part of the role of a coach. Your coach will help you build the skills and they truly are energy skills that you need to keep your energy, to help you, to assist you in keeping your energy focused and centered. And it is a skill. Those are skills, and they're life skills, and you get better at them the more and more that you do them. You become more and more proficient.
And I just then would like to lead in on one of our clients here who actually, after being a coachee, when this is really my passion, and turned into a coach. And so this is kind of some of her experiences after utilizing these tools, after utilizing the EFL experience.
Oh wow. I've learned, honestly, it's like I've changed my life. It really truly has changed my life. I've learned that when I have conflict, to speak from a place of love. If I can't come from a place of love, then it's not time to have the conversation. I've learned about centering your energy. I meditate every day. Who would have thought that? It's given me a peacefulness I've never had my whole life. That's what it's done for me. It's helped me to understand a peace that I never knew till I was over 40. Change your life in a very good way, in a very positive way. I've learned I matter, and I can't wait to share that with other people.
Well, as you saw, is that what Candace went through is a journey. So it really is about you starting to take that first step, and it is a journey. And you don't get there from it took Candace 5 years to get to where she's at, and she's been now a executive coach for about close to 2 to 3 years now. But her development and her journey down that path truly came with her doing that work. And that is how it starts, is you really start becoming involved in a period of self-reflection, of self-assessment. And when you go through that and you start working through those fears that are holding you back, your dreams start to come to the surface. Because as the fears go away, the dreams come up. Fear is to dreams what cancer is to good health. So as fear goes away, your dreams will come up, and you truly start seeing them as attainable. And you start becoming and getting in contact with that power that comes from you recognizing and realizing who you are and what is it that you want to pursue. And with that, as you develop and understand who you are, you recognize that who you are is a representation of things that are absolutely at the core, that drive you, that get you excited, that you look for it with anticipation when you wake up. And when you're involved in that every day, it doesn't feel like work. And that is when you hear individuals talk about they're passionate, that's what they mean. They're passionate about what they do. It's hard for me to in any way disguise my passion for coaching and for helping people learn how to be a coach, and for helping people be a coach, and for helping people get a coach. This is what I'm passionate about. I can't hide it. I don't want to hide it. I want to share it with as many people as I can. But that's when you really know you've tapped into your authentic self, because you have that passion for the path you pursue, because you can't be anything else. That is who you are. And it speaks to you, and you want to go out and do it every day.
And speaking of passion, here's one of my clients, Ross. We've been working together for about a year now, and it is really, really incredible to see the way that passion has come to really permeate this individual's life. And I'll go ahead and let him talk about that for himself.
I think it has been, it's kind of feeling a little bit more stable throughout rough times. I mean, rough times have still been coming through, but a little bit more of centering myself, really just getting into my flow, and that way get some good energy to go throughout the day. Do it, but most of the time you can find the time for it, and it was just a bass rock to go off of. I mean, I'm a very positive person, but just kind of having an extra person saying, yes, you're doing something a little bit right, or, you know, you need to change this, but for the most part, you've been doing stuff right, and just feeling like I can do the things that I wanted to do, because I'm a very ambitious person.
So then, how do we empower you to do the things you've always wanted to do? Well, we use these EFL principles.
And as part of understanding these principles, this is to really give you an insight into yourself and recognize that the state of energy that you're in, and what you may call what we call energy, you may call the mood you're in, right? And that it doesn't come by accident. And the mood in itself isn't in a vacuum, that there really is a biochemical reaction that happens as a result of a metaphysical connection. So that when you think something, that affects you physically, that your mind and your body are connected. And I think that all of us can think of times when we've been really sad. Something has happened in our life that kind of didn't go the way we planned or thought, and it was real tragic. It might have been a huge life event. Somebody close to you passed, or you lost somebody that you were in love with. But something that really shook the roots of your foundation, and then within a matter of a couple of weeks, you get sick. Well, we've recognized, and modern science has recognized, is that there is a direct tie with your energy state and your physical state. And that what happens as you go into that low negative is that absolutely affects your capacity, your immune system, and your capacity to fight off this disease. So let's talk about these 4 energy states, and recognizing that throughout the day, any day, you oscillate, you move between these different energy quadrants. And if I was to ask you in each one of these, what behaviors, what things live in each of these, you could right away rattle off. While it looks rather impressive or a bit intimidating, as we go through and talk about this, you'll recognize and realize, oh yeah, when I'm in high negative, boom, you could probably tell me exactly what kind of behavior lives in high negative. I'm really upset. You know, hate lives there, violence lives there, anger lives there, but it doesn't live there on its own. There's a biochemical reaction that keeps you in that state, and that's a state of energy that is full of high norepinephrine and epinephrine. And what this does, it makes you real strong and real fast. And it was a state of being that was incredibly important in prehistoric times. Because at that time, you as a human, there were things like raptors that would have loved to just eat you up. And so it was really a fight or fleet state of energy. And again, it made you real strong and it made you real fast. But the byproduct of it is it also makes you real dumb. And while in today's time, you've heard of when somebody has come out, seen their spouse underneath the car fell down on the husband. The wife comes out, sees the husband underneath the car, and she's lifted the car up off of him. Doesn't know how she did it, but she was able to be strong enough to lift the car up. Well, it's that high norepinephrine, epinephrine. It makes you really, really strong. That's why when you see things on the news and you see 6 police officers on one guy who's really, really upset, you think, well, why does it take 6 guys to control it? Though that's police abuse. Well, no, it really isn't. It's that he's in that high negative. So he is truly super strong. And it does take 6 grown men to try to subdue him. So when you recognize that, that is a biochemical state that you're in. And that biochemical state is something that also makes you real strong, but yet, and real fast, but also real dumb. And the dumb part, and I know I've gone through this, is I remember early on in my career, I'd be in a meeting, somebody in the meeting made an attack. They said some real snide remark, and I knew it was aimed at me. Everybody in the room knew it was aimed at me, and I'd get upset. And I'd spend the rest of that staff meeting really upset. And then I'd walk out of the staff meeting, start walking down the hall. I hardly would even say goodbye or say bye or anything to anybody as I walked out of the room. I'd walk down the hall, and as I'm slowly starting to relax a little bit, get to my cube, open up my emails, I started to really calm down, have a drink of coffee, which I'm going to do now. That's pretty good. And it would probably within a couple of minutes, I'd always calm down, and I would always come up with the idea of, I should have said this, boom. And what was stopping me from being creative was that I was up in that high negative. And it wasn't till I got to low positive, where creativity lives, that I could actually come up with an idea, a response. And that's why if you watch people that debate, the biggest thing is always staying calm, staying cool. Because if your energy state changes and your opponent is able to get in your head, you won't be able to respond. The other part, as we go down in that energy quadrant, is low negative. And the behaviors that live in low negative are depression, Self-criticism lives in low negative. Apathy lives in low negative. Sadness lives in low negative. And some people say, well, as we have these live workshops, they'll say, well, suicide lives in low negative. And actually it doesn't. You may be suicidal, but you'll actually have to move up to high negative to actually commit suicide, because you don't have the energy. You may think about it, but you won't do it. That's the absolute where depression lives, is in that low negative. And when you start listening to yourself through a coaching process, one of the best parts that comes from it is you start being conscious of that self-talk, that little voice that feeds you. And a lot of times for people that their manifestation of their desires, their dreams in their lives aren't in continuity with the exterior of what you see of them, the potential, their education, how they present themselves, and you think, wow, what's really going on? Well, it generally lies in that self-talk. And that self-talk, if you could actually plug in a Bluetooth headphone into it, you'd hear all the negative stuff they're saying to themselves. And that's what's really holding them back. And that is an area that we honestly spend a lot of time coaching people through, is that low negative self-talk. Now, on the flip of it is that we have low positive. Low positive is really when you're in high serotonin, but it's more of a balanced serotonin. It's when your serotonin is balanced, not too much, not too little. And you're just feeling chilled. You're totally relaxed. You don't feel threatened. You absolutely feel at peace. It's a place that I get to after meditating. A lot of people reach that place in the shower, like a nice warm shower in the morning. And that is why that's where all your ideas come. For many people, their best ideas, in a most recent survey, 85% of the people said they get their best ideas in the shower. And that is because that is the most relaxed that they are throughout the day. That is their low positive. And this is where creativity lives. This is where relaxation lives. This is where feeling secure it lives. This is where feeling loved lives, where feeling part of a family lives. So all this, when you hear the term warm and fuzzy, that's where warm and fuzzy lives. It lives in low positive. Now, high positive, this is where norepinephrine and serotonin. So you still have that real good feel. You're very optimistic. You have the optimism that you get from low positive, but then you add to it the norepinephrine that gives you that energy that drives you. It gives you the energy to execute the plan. It gives you the energy to make that shot. It gives you that energy to get out up in front of a large crowd and stay on point and deliver your presentation just fantastic. It is the place that you demonstrate love when you're in the high positive. That's when you open the door for someone, or carry bags for somebody to their car, or lean over and kiss your children or that person you love, or hug your parents and kiss your parents. That's where it's the demonstration of love, is in that high positive. So as you look at these quadrants, and if I had a flip chart, and in the future, I think I'll have a little whiteboard next to it. So as we go through this, I'd want to ask you to ask yourself, what percentage of time do you spend throughout the day in each one of these quadrants? Put a percentage by it. And then monitor that, whether on a daily or on a weekly basis, to see, is your life headed where you want to be and where you want it to be? And if you're spending the majority of your time in that high and low positive, I assure you that you're going to be seeing the kinds of things manifest themselves in your life that you want them to. I also am sure that if you're spending a lot of time in that high low negative, that it's absolutely not a real fun place to be. So as you look through this and you go and say, okay, what is the quality then of my life? All you have to do is just add these up. Just sum them up. That will be in a numerical level where the quality of your life is at. And if at the end, when it's time for you to cash in, you'll be able to look back at these quadrants and go, okay, what was the quality of my life? Real simple. How much time did you spend in the high and low positive? And it's really receiving love and giving love. And how much time did you spend in that low and high negative? I'm hoping that the latter is very little, and that truly your whole focus and energy is about staying centered between low positive and high positive and oscillating between those two energies. And that is where a coach comes in. That is the skill set they have. And they facilitate your ability to stay centered and keep oscillating, your energy oscillating between high and low positive.
And here I am to go ahead and just really talk about some of the amazing experiences I've had with clients when they're in those high and low positive mood states.
What I enjoy most about being a coach is these kind of aha moments that you have with your client. It's sort of a breakthrough, and you can see where they've been limiting themselves, what sort of behaviors they've been using, what sort of mental justifications have been there, what sort of blockades that they've put there for themselves. And then they kind of have this aha moment where the switch kind of flips and they realize that they've been keeping themselves from realizing their full potential. And something about watching someone really begin to understand who they are, what their potential is, what their strengths are, that's so incredibly rewarding. And I think for me, what is kind of the biggest give back from all of that, what really makes it worth it at the end of the day, are those moments that somebody finds themselves, that they find their maximum potential, that they realize who they can really be.
Thank you, Diego. So when we talk about staying oscillated and staying centered and oscillating between high and low positive, it really is about developing some skills. It's like anything else. For you to be able to consistently be and develop anything in life, it really becomes about developing a new skill set. And these are the energy skills of EFL. And this is the other component of having a coach. They will help you develop these skills. The more proficient that you become at these skills, the better that you will become. And it almost becomes reflective at keeping your energy centered, meaning oscillating between high and low positive. Now with that is, the first one is thought, is that self-talk. And having you start developing an awareness of that self-talk. Because that little voice is chattering all day long. And sometimes that voice, and who's talking to us, it's not even our voice. It might be our mom's voice. It might be our mom's voice when we were just a little kid, or dad's voice. It might be your spouse's voice, your wife's or your husband's voice that you're hearing. It might be your boyfriend or girlfriend's voice. It might be your neighbor's voice. It might be your boss's voice. The point being is, though, is recognizing and starting to hear, are you starting to take their voice and internalize that as your own voice? And so you're hearing this criticism, but then you're saying it to yourself. Diego, can you share with us maybe one of the instances you've had with one of your clients regarding self-talk?
Oh, I'll never forget. I had a client who had to make a really big decision on where she wanted to attend grad school. And she found herself really torn in between these two universities. And as we started to talk through it, she goes, "Wow, I don't even really want to go to University A." I believe it was. I think she was looking at applying to University of Kentucky. She goes, "I don't even really want to go there. The only person that wants me to go there is my dad." And she realized that the fear that she was holding was really her dad's fear. It was really her dad's dream. It wasn't even her own. And that to me was one of those moments that really stuck out to me as somebody whose own thought, whose own self-talk wasn't even their own. It was somebody else's entirely.
Well, thank you, Diego. That really leads into the other piece and the other skill set that we focus a lot on is exercise. And what's important about that is really because it is a metaphysical state. Your energy is a metaphysical state. So it's not all of one or all the other. It's not all a body issue. It's not all a mind issue. It really is mind and body. So it really is that metaphysical symbiotic relationship. And so the exercise piece, why that's so important is your body's ability to process oxygen efficiently, mix it with sugars, which the body stores in carbohydrates and in fats, and mix them and develop and gives you glycogen, which is what your brain runs off of. So your ability to stay in that high and low positive truly depends and has a direct connection with what kind of physical shape you're in, what kind of physical, and I hold back on the word shape because it's really not about, we've gotten to think of in this world of that exercise is so that you look a certain way. That's fine. If you aesthetically want to look a certain way, that's great. And working out will help you. But for our sake and for the sense of you keeping your energy centered and focused, the exercise piece, it's really about your body's ability to maximize efficiently on oxygen and the intake of nutrients. And we're going to talk about nutrition in a little bit. And the better that your body is at that, the better and easier it is for you to develop the ability at will to center your energy and oscillate between high and low positive.
And we've all heard this too on those late night infomercials for Jenny Craig or for Weight Watchers, but it talks about people who are exercising and they go, not only do I look better, I feel better too. And that's because when you exercise, you're releasing endorphins and serotonin and all those feel good neurotransmitters. And to Juan's point, it really does give you the ability to choose what mood state you want to be in. And what ties into that even further is nutrition.
Yeah, on the nutrition side, that's the other piece that our coaches have is they develop a nutrition plan for each of their clients. And we have a very specific nutrition guidelines that we have found that for our clients absolutely help them stay focused, help them in centering their energy and oscillating between high and low positive, because we've all ran into that where we haven't really paid attention to our nutrition. We're in a hurry. We throw something in our mouth because we're hungry. And sometimes it gives us a lot of energy, but then all the sugar is expended, like a donut or like I like particularly like a pan dulce, and I had to stay off them because it would make my energy rise up because of the sugar it carries real quickly, like a donut would in the US, and then it drops my energy, then I crash. And so what we work on is helping you raise your energy, but then keep it at a very stable level throughout the day. And it really becomes also, again, back to the metaphysical connection. It really is the health component. It's about you being able to more effectively and efficiently be able to oscillate the kinds of energy that you would like at will, and recognizing that certain nutrition, for instance, when you're very heavy on carbs, that's going to make you feel sluggish. It's going to slow you down. And carbohydrates, when you hear long distance runners and that they're going to carb up before a big race, well, that's real important because it really is a way to store sugar. Your body will store that. But from a performance state in a modern world, all it does is make you really, really sluggish, and it takes you away, and it's an easy place then to fall into that low negative and start being being a bit critical about yourself. That's where apathy then comes in, and you start falling into that kind of self-defeating cycle. The other thing that we speak to with our clients as coaching is setting time aside for self-reflection. What does that mean? It's about setting time aside to quiet your mind. Your mind is always moving at such a fast pace, even when you think it's not. And in today's time where you're being bombarded by so much media, and because of technology requiring you to work such long hours and everybody wants an instant reply, your mind just simply needs some time away from all that. And it truly needs that time for it to be quiet, to kind of shut down and reboot. There's many ways for that right now, and what we've always recommended to our clients, and Los Sueños now is going on its 30th year. We're one of the first companies ever to incorporate into their executive development a meditation routine. And we have found individuals who meditate are able to more quickly center their energy, stay oscillating their energy between high and low positive, and recognizing that meditation, especially in a Euro-Western society, is something that for a lot of people is a new thing, and they may feel a bit uncomfortable with it. But we have many different types of meditations for our clients. We help them find the one that works for them. And equally so, if you're a very spiritual person and you would rather just pray, and that's your form of meditation, prayer is a very strong form of meditation. But whatever it is that you can then let your brain take a time out Just be able to take some time out to be reflective, just to quiet your mind, still your body, and be still. You'll see that you sleep better. You enjoy your day-to-day better. You become more creative, more resourceful. You have better relationships with the people around you. You really start living in the present lots more. You'll find that you become aware, you become conscious of when you're not being present, when you are meditating. What you'll find is that when you are meditating regularly, you'll find that being present becomes much easier because you're not thinking about the past as much, because the past will never be. It's gone. It's not, no matter how much you dwell on the past, it's never going to be again. And the present, and the present is all you have, because the future never gets here. And you can think about the future and lay out all the greatest plans about the future, and all the future accomplishes is robbing you of the present, because it never gets here. The future will never get here. All you have is right now. And even right now is gone that quick, because as soon as I say right now, it's gone. It becomes the past. And I'm not trying to be funny about it, but that truly is it. So be present. Be right now. And meditation helps you get there.
And our next testimonial we have is really going to drive that point home. He talks a little bit here about how meditation has really just benefited him getting through his entire day. I'll go ahead and let Anthony tell you about it himself.
Definitely, I would say a little bit more energy throughout the day. Getting through the day is a little bit easier, having that like morning wake up routine. Never thought I would be much of a meditation person, but there's something about actually getting to vocalize things while I'm meditating that's really helpful. If I had like a really bad day the day before, I can do almost like a yell if I want to. So yeah, definitely getting through the day has been nicer. Just generally more upbeat about things. The looking towards the future aspect of things, whereas in the past I've been more of a kind of short-term minded, maybe seeing like a year and maybe see where I want to be in a year. Trying to start looking at where I want to be 5, 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Start really looking down the road. If you're thinking about it and you're hesitant for any reason, give it a shot. Give it like one try, a couple weeks. Not gonna hurt you. Because that's kind of where I was at about it. So I had a really cool friend who gave me the opportunity to try it out, so I gave it a shot, and I'm liking it.
Here's another testimonial from one of our now coaches, Guy, and he's going to go ahead and give you what he's gained from participating in the EFL experience.
As we get through this testimonials, recognize that what it means is that for every individual, it's all unique. And that's why we had these testimonials at the end, is that we're hoping that you'll be able to see yourself in one of these individuals and go, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I'm like him, or I'm like her. Because coaching doesn't come just in one size and one flavor. There's many different experiences, many different paths to get to your journey, to get to your destination.
Is how easy it is, even though once you have the tools, how easy it is to stop using them, and how difficult it is to get back on track. But that you can get back on track, that the tools do work.
And we're going to finish off then here with Candace. She's talking a little bit about here what she gained from becoming a coach and what that transition meant to her.
How to center my energy. I think differently now. I know that there's always an answer for everything. It's just sometimes it isn't time for the answer to show up. Or there's kind of like, there's like this big thread in life and we're all connected. And I never before, I really never got being one, but I get it now. I mean, I get the fact that we're all like this beautiful piece of divinity, this spark, this wowness, this awesomeness. And for me to have an opportunity to show other people what their awesomeness looks like, that's an honor. 6 years ago when I started, I go, oh, it's all business, 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 you know, and I sort of kind of feel like, well, we've been there and we've done that now. I mean, how many more accolades or trophies does a person need? I mean, it's funny because I think I hit a core when it was no longer about business anymore. It was about humanity and about people. And what would you get from me? I think me showing you the path to the best pieces of your soul.
Well, I wanted to thank all our clients for sharing things that are very close and very personal to them, and really giving us an insight in what made a difference in their life and what was the impact of this EFL experience. And with that, I'd like to open it up for questions and answers. And know that you have Yammer. And Diego, if you can explain a little bit to us on the Yammer piece, so that as we get these questions, people recognize and realize they can just go to Yammer.
So actually what it is I use something a little bit different that's going to just work a little bit better for our Q&A process here. If you actually look on the right side of your screen, you'll see a little Skype Q&A live broadcast meeting box. You don't need to sign up, sign in, or anything. It's all anonymous, so you can just go ahead, put those questions in there, and we'll go ahead and get those answered. And I think we have a couple that already went in before we started here, Juan, if you want to go ahead and answer those.
Yes. Yeah, it was on my left before you go on, Diego, the little question thing on the conversation, that was on my left. Is that the same one?
No, that's different for you.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay, then ignore everybody what I just finished saying. It's not on your left. Yes, I have actually a question from Rebecca. And she's wanting to know, and she is writing us from Mexico City. And so to all my friends in DF, all my fellow Chilangos, welcome. But she wants to know if her living in Mexico City is an issue regarding her coaching with the time difference. That's her question. And is there a language? Because she says while she speaks English, she'd much rather have it in Spanish. So to respond to Rebecca's question is no, the time difference is we actually have clients in Mexico City, so we're really accustomed to the time difference, and we have clients throughout the world, so we always make whatever adjustments. And we've utilized Skype, seems to work real well for everybody, and that way people can see each other and they get to know each other much better. Also regarding language, no, we speak a lot of languages here at Los Sueños Institute. As part of the name of Los Sueños Institute, Sueños itself, when I founded it back 30 years ago, while I was a VP at Coke, the big reason meaning that really Sueños meaning dreams for folks who don't speak Spanish, is what binds all of us as human beings. It unites the whole human experience. And what I noticed in the corporate world, there were certain people that were much more successful at manifesting their dreams than others. And so for me, it was, how do I help those folks who keep running into roadblocks and help them fulfill their dreams? And so that's really where Los Sueños Institute and the name came from. Pero no, a nosotros nos encanta hablar en español igual como inglés. O también falamos português un pouquinho, né? But we've lived in Brazil. We've spent a lot of time living throughout Latin America and obviously in Mexico as well. So with that, we're just fine with those. The other one I have, and Diego, you may want to be able to address this. And this is from Robert, and Robert's wanting to know is that he says, I'm currently, I just finished up my bachelor's, I'm working in my field, and I'm in tech, but I want to see how coaching would help me. That's his question.
Sure, Robert. One of my clients is heavily involved in the tech industry here that's booming in Salt Lake City with University of Utah just going Pac-12. And one of his biggest things was kind of finding time to turn off. Because especially in the tech industry, you can with relative ease work from home. So if it's not, I mean, coming home, it's real easy to go, you know what, I'll sit down and code for a couple more hours. But what he found with himself is that he was always going, always never finding time to have some introspection, to find some reflection, to take his energy into a low positive mood state. He wasn't doing it. He didn't think he had the time for it. And so really what it was him finding that time for introspection in his morning routine, for him finding times when he came home to just relax and enjoy his family and enjoy his friends. And when he was able to create that work-life balance, that's where he specifically found that release. And all of a sudden when he did that, then it wasn't forcing himself to go to work. It wasn't about what he should be doing at work. It was about what he could be doing at work. And it really improved his performance at work. And he found himself just overall happier, enjoying his life more. And that's really what it's about.
Oh, great. Thank you. I got a compliment. Well, you're welcome. And this was from Susie, and she wanted to thank us for, she said, thank you, I really enjoyed the presentation, and I don't have a question. Well, you don't have to have a question, but the thank yous are great too. So I really wanted you to know is that we absolutely appreciate you being there for us too. I think that what's different for us in this case, outside of the little messages we're getting, we don't get to see everybody. And we're hoping in the future that we can kind of open this up so that we have video kind of camera so that we can see everybody and it's a much better conversation back and forth. We're going to look into that technologically speaking. The other thing too is that I wanted to say is that if you like Susie, you like this webinar, we will be posting it to our website with a link, and you can then share it. And you want to share it with some of your friends, you can then go ahead and share that, and they can then get an idea of what coaching is and what it's not. You know, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've seen in the time that I've been in the workplace is the change. It used to be that you had internal coaches, internal mentors, and they help you guide your career along the way. And when you ran into kind of rough spots, you could always go talk to them and give them questions, or sometimes just vent because somebody made you mad or you felt you got done wrong. And that's probably been the thing that in the corporate world has changed and the workplace has changed so much, and that you don't have these mentors and internal coaches to go to. It used to be what HR used to do. And that's probably where the biggest difference lies. And that's why now coaching is filling that void, that that person that you can talk to, that person you can bounce ideas off of. That's really where coach, so that you don't feel like, hey, I'm into this thing, I'm all by myself. No, you don't have to do it all yourself. I have another question here from Rodrigo. Rodrigo wants to know if, and his question is, he's been successful. He says, I have been pretty successful in my career. I am now a director of sales for a, okay, I'm trying to figure, okay, for a geographic zone. Is there information with coaching that I could share to my team or with my team? And yeah, I think that's, for me, I can speak to this one, is that I think it's what I've seen is that when you're going through the process of coaching, you'll find that, especially for people that are out there that are leaders of teams, there's information that you'll want to right away go and share with your team. You'll see roadblocks that they're running into that's keeping them from fulfilling their potential, and you'll be able to see it because you'll see it in yourself. You'll see it in yourself first and go, oh, that's what so-and-so is struggling with. Diego?
No, and that's absolutely it. I think that's one of probably the most rewarding parts of getting coached. And that's when I kind of decided that coaching was something that I wanted to do. When I started with Los Sueños Institute as an intern, I would have moments with the coaches where I would kind of bounce off some of the things that were going on in my life, and then they would be able to help me. And then I'd see similar situations occurring in my friends' life, in my other students' lives. I ran a fraternity during college as well, and so I'd see it happen in my brothers' lives. And when I was able to use what I know and come from a place of personal experience and the kind of ideas and the thought pattern and the thought process and the tools that had helped me, and I was able to alleviate kind of some of the stress, some of the hardship they were dealing with, that's really a rewarding moment. And so absolutely, as you're going through this coaching process, you'll find things, Rodrigo, that not only really resonate with you, but you'll see can really resonate with the people you love and you care about.
Well, we're having some more questions come in, but because of time constraints, if we have your message, we will answer them back as a text. Knowing that it is 1 p.m., we do have really a time right here that we have to absolutely stop at. So with that, I want to thank everybody for participating, and know that you can also, if you have any other questions, reach us on Facebook. You can also IM us on Facebook and we'll respond there. We want to thank you very much for your time, and I just want to leave you with this on how to get a hold of us and saying, okay, because if you came to this webinar and you really didn't know why, you saw it on a Facebook post, you opened it up, and you read it, sounded a little interesting, and you went, okay, I'll listen to it. I'll give him a shot. Well, know this. Nothing is an accident. You came here because you're ready and open to finding out more about who you are, what you're really meant to be. Because nothing is an accident and we're all interconnected to the power of the universe and to each other, the universe brought you here. Now, where you take it from here is dependent on you, where you want to be, where you want to go. The universe brought you here. That next step is up to you. You're the only one that knows what you're going to do and what you need to do. With that, if you have decided, hey, I want to know more, I want to go further on this coaching process, I'd love to speak to a coach. You can contact us at info@losueñosinstitute.com. You can also contact us through our Facebook page. You can also call us.
And I see our phone number got left off of there, so let me go ahead and give it to you guys. It's 888-406-1034. One more time, that's 888-406-1034.
And then what will happen, we will match you up with one of our EFL coaches. Your first session will be free, because the biggest and most important part is that you match up and you fit well with one another. And then from that, if both of you then want to go forward, we'll be able to sign you up and you can start your journey with your coach. And together you're going to find that path that you're looking for. So again, I want to thank everyone. Diego, thank you for your participation today. It was great to hear you.
Hey, it was great to be here with you.
And so with that, thank you all and have an incredible day. Take care.
Take care, everybody.